Welcome everybody to tonight's Zoom call for Real Abundance. Thank you for coming, appreciate it. As all of you are probably very busy, we're right now in between Christmas and New Year's, and we have some really exciting things that are going to be coming up in the new year that I want to share with you. But before we do that, on the last couple calls, I've talked about getting ready with your goals, because the new year is always the time when we can reflect about what we did last year and what we want to change to do in the new year. And I think part of the new year for you should be to really excel in your real abundance business and or other areas of your life. And to do that, to set your goals. But before I get into the goals, I want to recap. I want to add a little bit more to goals, then I'm going to tell you the exciting things we have coming up. Some of the exciting things we're going to have right at the beginning of January. But before I do that, one of the things I always like to also vibration, and how you raise your vibration is one of the ways is to be positive, of course, but to have gratitude. Gratitude, if you're ever having an issue, one is, I've talked about giving admiration to others, but another thing is to have gratitude. And I want to share a quick little story that an example of gratitude, that just how life can be so good even when things outside are going crazy and hectic. Over the Christmas holiday, I went to my hometown and was with my mother and our family. And while there, we went golfing with Amy, and I went golfing with my my second son Bailey, who graduated from USC last year, and he works at the Ojai Valley Inn right now until he finds his career, because things are so hectic, and so he's been golfing quite a bit. So we went golfing, not to the Ojai Valley Inn, but to the Stoll Park Golf Course, and out on the back, I think it's hole 6. It's way out against a mountain range. As we came up to hole 6 after our second shot, there was literally a buck with horns. There was 2 does and 2 fawns, so 5 deer all together standing at the fringe, eating the fringe of the grass. And it was just majestic because we had a big oak tree in the background and a mountain range in the back, and then of course the golf course. It was very well manicured. But sitting there looking at those deer, and they were looking at us as we approached. So it was really just a beautiful, beautiful scene, so to speak, nature, and then deer sitting there. So I'm very grateful for that scene, but it even gets better. We're doing our approach shots to the green, and my son Bailey had 2 good shots. So he was 2, and then he's laying for his approach onto the green, and he hits it, and it went right in the cup. So he made a 5 par in 3 shots, which is an eagle. It's really good to get par. It's really, really good to get 1 underneath, which is called a birdie. But to get an eagle, which is 2 underneath the par, that's like phenomenal. In fact, it's the only eagle he's ever shot. So what a beautiful experience that was. So I just wanted to share. So I was grateful to have that experience with my son, who I don't see very often. And then, of course, Amy, my wife, was there. Beautiful scenery. It was quite good. So gratitude. I'm sure a lot of you guys had wonderful experiences over the last Christmas holiday, because boy, with family and everything, Christmas is like the best time of the year for all that. Okay, so let's raise our vibration. Gratitude is a great way to do it. Now, I've talked about setting the goals to start thinking about it, and I like to look at 4 areas. One is like personal goals, again, real quick, like I need to lose 10 pounds, or I'm going to go to the gym at least 3 days a week, or those types of things that are very personal. Second is the familial goals, like what do you vacation we've been planning for, or I got to get to my mother's house I haven't seen. I want to see her at least once a quarter, or those types of goals, which are really good family. And it could be, earning more money for the family, right? So you can take a vacation, but setting very specific what you want to do. The third thing is you and your groups. So that could be at work, your work group, or with us, your Real Abundance group, things you want. I would say within our group to really learn the Real Abundance system, how to market it online to where you're making an extra $5,000 a month. That could be a really good goal. The fourth is you with your outside community, or like for all humanity. And I like to think of those as my goals for, like, CCHR is a company that I like to contribute to. I'm going to contribute $5,000 to XYZ charity this next year, which will help, give back to the society. And it could be anything. It could be inner city. It could be globally, like environmental cause. The Earth Organization is another one I like to contribute to. But CCHR, which is Humanities, Citizens Commission on Humanities, which really helps people have human rights, which is important to me because I believe, nothing's worse than somebody that's oppressed. Anyways, so those 4 areas. Next thing that you need to do is then figure out what your be, do, have is, and you do it backwards. So you start with your have. What do you want to have? Let's set specifics. Do you want a new house? Do you want, what income level do you want? Like I said, do you want that vacation? Do you want a new car? What is the have things that you want to do? And then you got to figure out, well, what are you going to need to do to get that have, and who you're going to need to be. I gave an example of my friend Tony before, who was a rock star. Well, he's just standing there very, very stoic and very stiff. That's not the rock star beingness. He's got to get wild and crazy and throw his guitar around his neck and jump up and down and jump off the back. Then that's a show. So you need to be a rock star if you want to be a rock star. Well, if you want to be a business person, you have to dress nice. You have to present yourself well. You have to be well mannered, well clean. You have to have your process down so you come across very clear and smooth. You have to have a certain level of confidence. Nobody wants to do business if somebody doesn't have any confidence. And then there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. You can't be arrogant because that comes off as, you don't want to work with a guy, but you like to work with people that are confident and they know what they're doing. Well, that comes through education and experience and practice. And a good example of that is, again, like a basketball player. Kobe Bryant practices so many times that he can be falling down and I look at the basket, throw it up, and half the time it'll just go right through the middle. Now, if me as a basketball player tried to not be looking at the ball, throwing the ball up and expecting to go in the basket, I might get 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000. Where Kobe makes it look, these guys make it look natural. I say Kobe. Kobe's no longer with us, but as a Laker, I used to watch the Lakers quite a bit, and it could be, Michael Jordan. I mean, he's even the better example. He could shoot baskets with his eyes closed, right? So that happened because he practiced a lot. So he had that confidence that he could just make those shots. Okay, now to figure out you're doing this, you need to actually figure out what we like to say is orders of magnitude, or what amount. It's nice to say, I want to make $100,000 a month. Well, what does that really mean? Well, if say you get $1,000 for every job you do, well, to make 100,000, that means you need to do 100 jobs to make $100,000. Well, if you're only doing 2 jobs a month right now, or 3 jobs, how realistic is it for you to get to 100 jobs a month? Not really. And if you want to look at real abundance, normally if you fill up your first 2x8 matrix and you have 1 business center, if you have the 3 business centers, the leadership package, then it's double this. But with 1 business center, if you fill up your 2x8, that's about 510 people, so we'll just round it to 500 people in your matrix. And if they start at the $29.95, most of them will have upgraded, because as they get more down, you'll upgrade to the $100. So let's just say an average of $50. That means 500 people buying $50 a month worth of product. That's equaled out to about $25,000 worth of volume through your center. And if you're making 5% on that, that'd be $1,250. Now, if more of those have upgraded to the associate position, then you'll make more. So realistically, you can look at making, when you fill your matrix up, between $1,200 to $2,000 per business center. So if you have 2 business centers, that would be between $2,500 and $4,000 a month. Right there, that's the orders of magnitude you need to get to be making an extra $2,000 to $4,000 a month. Now, if you fill out your 3 buys and stuff, it goes a lot faster. But what does that mean to have 500 people in your organization? How many other people to duplicate? Well, we figured out duplicating. That's literally, if you're just bringing in 1 a week, I think it's less than 10 months. You should be able to do that if you bring in people that actually duplicate as well. So it's not really that hard when you think about it. Across the whole United States, with over 320 million people, and if we're providing a product that people need and want, once it starts multiplying, 500 people is nothing. So you could easily get up to another, like I say, $2,000 to $4,000 a month fairly quickly. And on the 3 buy, within a year, you should be $5,000 to $10,000 easily. And that's not being a superstar. If you're a superstar, you could do that in like 3 to 6 months. So you need to actually think about what the orders of magnitude or how much effort you really have to put into something. So it's not just whimsical, like, oh, I just want to make an extra $5,000 a month. Well, what do you have to do to make that $5,000 a month? So write it out on a picture, and then you got your penis. Okay. Now, you know what you have to do. Well, why aren't you doing it? That's when you got to get real with yourself and say, what are the skills necessary that I need to actually accomplish that goal? And what are the skills needed? One of the things is we have obviously DeMarco's courses, which are just world class. I mean, they're cutting edge with learning how to write, learning how to market on the internet, learning how to utilize the articles to do it. So if you actually start putting it into action, he's giving you the skills. So with the skills, usually I like to say there's a couple things. There's personal skills, then there's the system skills. So is the system going to work? Well, I know the Real Abundance system works. We know the product works. And we know that DeMarco is very effective. So he has something. So it's just a matter of you developing the skills necessary to implement that system. And then how do you do that? Well, you usually need mentorship. So we have the class. Well, DeMarco is, and me, we're willing to mentor you early on. Now, when we start getting big, which we're going to probably within 6 months or next year, we'll start getting big. You'll have to pay to have DeMarco to be able to talk to you personally, or to me to talk to you personally, because we're just going to have too many people that are wanting our attention, so to speak. So you're in an excellent position at this point, really a golden position, because you have personal access to me, you have personal access to guys like Michael Mercier, you have personal access to DeMarco right now. That won't be how it is a year or so from now, because there'll be so much demand on his time that you're not going to have that. So please take advantage now, and you really do have an asset in that. So in that mentorship, and you know, DeMarco, not just in internet marketing, he has been very successful in many businesses. So he has a wide range, as I have too. I've been successful in a number of businesses as well. Real Water, Real Chamber. I've been an elected official, which is a whole nother set of skills you need to create. So we both have a lot of talents. Mike Mercier, I mean, writer, Kevin Best. I mean, Kevin has done co-ops and stuff. These guys are all there, ready, willing, and able to help you. And that won't be the case, like I said, later on. So utilize the systems, utilize the mentorship, and then you got to sharpen your axe, so to speak, by developing your skills. And that's up to you to actually do that. And you really find out what you need is when you go into action, because when you go into action, you find out what roadblocks you run into, what areas aren't working, what is working, and you start developing the skill set and finding out where your weaknesses are to practice that skill set. But now's the time to really sit down and get real with yourself and go through these areas so you can find out what it's going to be to change your life. If you want to change your life for the better and not just do the same thing, have a Groundhog Day repeat of next year like you're at now, you've got to start going into action and setting these goals and then identifying the areas you need to correct. Okay? So that's my little talk for tonight. So we went through the 4 areas, the be, do, have you got to do. You got to get the confidence, and also confidence in the product is by knowing it. That book, I put it away, but the Miraculous Properties of Ionized Water, wonderful information that gives you confidence when you're selling the product. And then, you know, mentorship, systems, and the skills. Got to hone those in, because you got to find out what level of production, what orders of magnitude do you really need to do to change your life and create what you want. Okay. Okay, good. Now, the new year, I'm really excited. So we have the Real Water Concentrate, which is the foundation of everything in our bodies. The negative ions are just magical in my belief. And water is the foundation. We're over 80% water. So water is the foundation of almost everything we do, whether it's cooking, the foods we eat, what we're drinking, etc. So we have that foundation. Well, you may recall Michael earlier on had talked, he's got over 25 years of experience. He was, you know, a world-class karate expert, and he's on a US karate team. And then he started having health issues. So he dedicated himself to learning the technologies. Well, it just so turns out in his research recently, which he's been talking about doing with the Real Water, with his herbs and stuff, he's found out that with a lot of his remedies, these particularly homeopathic remedies, when the negative ions are added to it, it just turbocharges those remedies. So he's been creating some remedies for various ailments that we have. Again, remember, we can't treat, cure, prevent any disease, so I'll just say various ailments, and we'll be sharing some of those a little later. And we've just been getting phenomenal results quickly, where people are spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on stuff, normally like herbs and supplements and other things. Now with Michael, with literally with some of the stuff within days, people are having these remarkable, I don't want to say healing, because again, it's not that, results for their conditions very quickly. So Mike's identified 5 areas which are very common that we're going to be, in the first couple weeks, we're going to be introducing these new remedies that are based on the homeopathic remedies and centered with the concentrate. And they're going to come in little 1 ounce vials where you just put a couple drops under your tongue a couple times a day, and they result in just amazing processes. And I don't want to tell you what they are yet, because we're going to start rolling them out in the first couple weeks. But again, based on the electron energized technology, these negative ions added to these other remedies, boom, it's a home run grand slam. And I'm excited because utilizing what DeMarco's been teaching you, going into these groups where people have specific conditions, and when you can help those conditions, help yourself, help the own body take care of itself in a couple days, when people have been having chronic conditions for years, it'll be amazing. So with that, I want to wrap up today's. Let's please work on your goals so that come the new year, which is starting next week, you can hit the ground running, because everybody is looking, and through January and early February, everybody's looking for a new way to change their lives. They kind of hung over for the first week or two, but by week 2, they're looking, what am I going to do? How am I going to change this? Now, most people fall flat on their face and don't do anything. They have a little burst of energy. But if you have a system and you can scoop some of those people into your group, now's the time to do it. So don't delay, because if you're, again, it's like the surfboard analogy. If you try to start paddling when the wave's already cresting, it's too late. You're going to crash and burn. But if you start paddling before the wave, you catch it. So right now you're a little bit before the wave, but you got to start paddling right now. Don't start paddling in February, March. The wave's already gone by. So start paddling now and do those things. Get your goals done, figure out what skill sets you're going to need to develop, and let's start being ready to run come New Year's. DeMarco, do you want to add anything before we end up?
Hey, let's run in 2021. Let's have fun.
Excellent. You got a little rhyme there. You're going to be a rap star too now, huh?
There we go. Okay.
You got the run and the fun in 2021. I love it.
And we appreciate everybody that shows up here weekly. It's a good number in the room right now. And I just want to tell you guys, appreciate you. I'm going to be working carefully and closely with you guys, especially Kathy and Perry, immediately on let you get this weekend out of your system and get your New Year's going. But on Monday, let's hit the ground running and get this.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for 2021. We've done some restructuring at Real Water, so Amy and I are going to be dedicating 90% of our time on Real Abundance. And we're just excited, because I believe so passionately in our product. And now with this new stuff that Michael's developed, and I think DeMarco, you're going to be excited about it as well, because we've been talking about it. It's going to be exciting when you add your systems and your training to our product and our system, the Real Abundance system. It is a grand slam home run, and I'm pumped up about it, because it's going to blow up. I'm just 1,000% confident. So again, thank you so much for being here. And like we say, to an elevated lifestyle, I wish better health and nutrition for you, increased health, increased wealth, and wonderful enhanced relationships, which is an elevated lifestyle. And that's our purpose here. So until the new year, have a wonderful new year. Be safe. And we look forward to seeing you at the beginning of next year. Thanks.